Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. I don't have a name yet, and I think we will figure it out in a bit. But yeah, I'm back, and I wanted to do this now. My camera is currently in reparation. I dropped it when I was in LA out of my car, and I was like making excuses to not film and not make a podcast when I really wanted to do it. And then I was like, you know what? We're gonna go with this Zoom setting. I used this for 2 years, so I think it's just good that I still keep going. And I hope you guys are doing extremely well. And today I wanted to talk a bit about my experience of, traveling to America a lot, kind of the differences. I've been living in Europe. I've also lived in Australia before. And yeah, what's going on in my head? I'm still looking for a podcast partner. So basically, this podcast and this platform that I want to build should mainly be a weekly episode. I want to, drop a weekly episode about recent topics within culture, tech, and fashion and music, things that I'm working on, and also doing reviews of like tech products and things that are new in the space, talking with women, talking with, all kinds of people, CEOs, different, creatives, because that's what I used to do. And I have to be honest, I really miss it. If you don't know, I used to do a podcast for 2 years called New Forum, and it was so much fun. And I feel like the main thing that I've learned from podcasting is that it kept me accountable with showing up and really digesting and analyzing topics and, listening to different opinions. And I feel like it really helped me mentally to develop myself. And yeah, I want to keep this up, and I want to, I love listening to podcasts myself, and I want to just, if there's one or two people listening to this, or if there's 100 people listening to this in the future, I just want to do this for myself. And so here I am showing up and being accountable, and I just want to share topics that I'm interested in and my narrative, because I always do stuff for other companies and I work on other people's projects, but I really want to build something, a platform, an audience, and a community by myself, and step a bit out of that mindset of, okay, I have to do a podcast for somebody else or I have to join a bigger network. And I'm just gonna, let things flow and work on them myself from now on, and also obviously work with other people. But I don't know, I got so inspired by other women doing this, and I was like, you know what, you love this so much, why not pick it up again, do it now, because I have a bit of time. Currently, yeah, I thought I'm gonna do my first episode being back in the game. Let's see what's coming next. And I want to talk a bit about, me going to the USA, and yeah, I wanted to do this episode about, being a girl in her 20s. I lived in different places, so I thought I'd give you a bit of an overview in my opinion. Like, I feel like I don't think you understand, but recently I went to the US a lot, and it really just innate this fire in me again to try to do bigger and better things. Yeah, let me just quickly run through my experience, and then we're gonna go into the pros and cons. And yeah, I hope you have a coffee, or you. I always love to listen to podcasts while I'm on walks because I feel like they're so fun and they keep me excited and motivated. So if that's you, then you might not see me, but I'm with you, girl or guys. And yeah, so I used to live in Australia before the pandemic. Then I moved back home to Europe, and I've been bopping around. I lived in the UK for a bit, like on and off. And yeah, in Germany, that's where I'm from. And I recently been going to America. This was now my second time. I went in August, late August, September, and then last year I was there for Thanksgiving, and I was there for a whole month, I think. Yeah. And basically the way it works, you just get an ESTA, you apply online, you pay 10 euros. For us Europeans, it's very easy. And then you go, and for me, it was always a really pleasant experience. Obviously, I have friends there, so I would recommend you if you want to go. It's always good to have, somebody that you know already in the place that can show you around and, help you out with certain things because it's definitely different than traveling Europe. But yeah, it's so much fun. So I want to go into things that I've experienced is I've met these amazing girls while working here in Europe and them being over from America, traveling. I met these girls at a festival and also my best friend Tanya, in Ibiza. And then this time in Amsterdam, I met another girl called Sam, and they're all American girls. And one thing I want to say positive, I want to start with the pros, is that the girls and the people I met, I think, are really friendly and welcoming. So I honestly never had this where a group of girls would just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna come see you." Like my friend Anastasia, she saw me in LA. Then, Tanya is always, I mean, with this clothes, and it's so nice and honestly such a difference to how sometimes these girls are in Europe. I'm not saying like there's good and bad people everywhere, but I just feel like it was very refreshing to be so adopted into their circle quickly, and it was really really pleasant experience. So yeah, I think this is something you will go to America and people will just speak to you on the street. Hey, what's up? How you doing? And they're really just uh open to, opportunities and talking, and it doesn't matter if they're like an Uber driver. I had like the best conversations ever with one Uber driver in LA who was from the I think Georgia or Czech Republic or something, and we were talking about how he got to America, and we were talking about American immigration and all these things, and I remember these nice conversations, and that's something I really appreciate about Americans. They're really optimistic and they're really welcoming as well, I think. So this is the first part. This is like I would say the social aspect. Then another thing, I'm sorry. Um, Then another thing that I really liked was when I was in New York, I obviously the city is amazing, but I was just walking on the street and people would say, "Oh my God, I like your outfit." And then things started happening. I met this guy, he filmed me. I got into his YouTube video and I'm sorry, I'm still a bit sick. I just want to say that these things would never happen in Germany, if you know what I know. It's so fun and people really make the most out of their creativity. Like they might have a job, but then they might do YouTube videos or they have a podcast or they have a startup, and nobody's looking down on you for that. They are like they're all there for, you expressing yourself, and that's honestly so fun. I love it. I think I don't know why we have this thing in Europe that we have a very traditional mindset at times where if you want to start something new, people are a bit look hesitant or, they think you're doing something illegal or whatever. And in America, it's just not that way. Sorry, let me get a sip of my coffee one sec. Yeah, so I hope in the next weeks I'll also get my camera back so I can, get the visuals right as well. But what I'm saying is this is the social aspect that I've realized. Obviously, I'm gonna go into the cons as well in a bit, but the mindset and the social aspect of these things is just really nice. One thing though, I would say is that people can be flaky, but to be honest, in Europe, people can be flaky as well. So I don't think this is a specifically American thing because you can also have your best friend for 11 years in Europe and then they flake on you as well. So I think I don't see this as a con. Then the lifestyle. So let me get into the lifestyle a bit more. People, I mean, in New York, it's not that way, but in LA and in Miami and stuff, people are driving. Like you're not walking anywhere. I remember one time I asked a friend if I could just bike to West Hollywood from Santa Monica, and she was like, "Why would you do that?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So people they either take Uber or they drive, and for me, I really love driving. I love, listening to music or podcasts while driving. So I was honestly having the best time in LA because, you pull in your car, you listen to music, then you're driving, then you're meeting your friend, then you're going to another meeting. And it's just, I feel like I really like it. I didn't really see the traffic as a con as well. Obviously, if I would live there longer, probably I would see it as a con. Um, but yeah, I don't know. This is something people would even take a drive for like a 5-minute walk. And this is something I always asked my friend. I was like, can we just walk? And she was like, no, we're gonna drive. Like this is and I was like, this is 2 minutes away. But she's like, no, we're gonna drive. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So people are really convenient and even like to the point where you can order your coffee on an app before you get there. I mean, you can do this here too, but people do this more like in San Francisco or LA or New York where they have so in such a rush, you know? So yeah, the lifestyle is different, and I would say also the shopping is very different because um here in Europe, how can I explain it? So I think somebody explained it to me like this. In America, it's more about individual products. In Europe, it's more about heritage brands. So, for example, you have Lululemon, Nike Jordans, all these like iconic Skims, iconic products. And then in Europe, you have more like heritage brands like, I don't know, LVMH brands, for example, YSL or Bottega or, um, Balenciaga. So it's like, and it's more about the craft. Like if you go to Antwerp, it's more about the craft. If you go to even in Hamburg, like, it's more about the craftiness and the heritage of the brand. And in America, it's more about the individual product that blows up. And they have, I think the shopping is can be very extreme in America because I've seen things I've never seen before. For example, you have like these hand sanitizers that you can buy in a store and they have little charms to put onto like it's a hand sanitizer, right? So you have charms that you can put around your hand sanitizer, if that makes sense. And I was like, why, why would you buy a charm for your hand sanitizer unless you're like a 10-year-old girl? Um, but yeah, it's really like this people love to buy things and I realized that as well that you have to be careful with your spending habits because in America, you're just like tapping and doing so much with your money. Like it goes so quickly as well. And I would say this is one thing I would also be aware when you're booking Airbnbs and different hotels that you have to be careful that this is like legit people just because, yeah, and it is expensive. Like you have to have a good credit card. I took two credit cards, I remember, and my normal debit card. And you know, just be sure that you have enough money when you go there. Yeah, work-life balance, I would say, obviously. The thing is, yeah, I'm at a point now where I want to make good amount of money. I've been working for a bit and I look at job offers in Europe and I'm honestly not impressed just because I've also worked with American companies before and my friends, I see their salaries and I see what they make and I'm just like, it's such a difference, but obviously we have healthcare, we have like social security, which they don't have, and you can see that, and that's a big con, I would say, that if you are struggling, you're going to America, you want to struggle even more, I think. And it's not a nice struggle, it's not like a struggle where here you get help and all this stuff. If you struggle there, it's really can be very detrimental. That's why if you lose your job and you don't have support there, it's like I don't know how people even do that, but um, it's also very annoying because I feel like here, even though it is expensive to live in a big European city like Amsterdam, London, Paris, Berlin, even, the pay is not matching the inflation rate. And the offers are like, let's say 40, 30, 40K or 50K or whatever. And I'm just like seeing my American friends who have less experience make 120 $1,000 in the US, and I'm just like baffled by that. Obviously they pay more for cars and for, their living. I just think like the whole system in general is a bit screwed at the moment. Like the whole, like in Europe, you can't find good housing. It's really hard. I mean, in America probably as well. So I don't know. I just feel like the uppers are more up there. Like if you secure a good deal, you secure a good deal. Whereas here, like you can work for a company for a long time and you have to like, it's harder to secure a good deal and to really maximize your earning potential, if that makes sense. So this is another thing that is, I think, really different. Yeah, and then the cons, obviously. Okay, cons. I think it can be probably very isolating if you don't have a good community over there, and it can be a very oh, blah, individualistic mindset where it's obviously it depends, but I think it can be very ruthless in a way. Um, in Europe as well, but I think in America it is more like survival of the fittest kind of mindset, which is really hard for immigrants. Obviously, the politics, I don't want to talk about politics, but it's also a bit of a risky one. Like for example, in where was it? In California, um, when you walk around, you see a lot of homelessness, but also another thing is like when you go to other states, you have to be aware that anyone can have a gun. It's just something that you don't think about here. It's just, I don't want to go into the depth of this whole topic, but I'm just saying that it's something you have to be aware of, and it's very different. And yeah, I think that's a big con, the security aspect of like, your life, health insurance, and things like that. I can just go to the doctor here and it's fine. I don't have to pay anything more than what I have to pay monthly, and it's fine. But I think, yeah, this is one of the biggest cons. And then for somebody from Europe, I think the visa situation as well. This can be a lot. And I think, yeah. Um, and then yeah, I think this is a I think I've learned summing this up topic up, I think I've learned so much in such a little time being there and seeing how my friends live. And maybe this is just an episode to remind everyone to see the different side of the coin and go where you are appreciated, because I think that the more I get into my work and the more I do things, I really feel like your environment plays such a big role. And I think, why would you not go where you are appreciated? That's why I also think Asia is a great place for a lot of people because of the community there, and you can do so much there in Asia. And I think it's just a really big lesson to go where your friends are and go where you are appreciated, go where you get the work support that you need. And even though I love Europe and I will always be a European girly, I could never give up fully being from here because my family's from here and I love our cultural richness. I love that we grew up with multiple languages. Yeah, I love that, but I don't know if I want to live here forever or at least have a second base somewhere else. And yeah. So I hope to see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was just a quick summary of my journey there and my pros and cons. I hope you like it, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. I'm gonna talk a bit more about different tech products, and I hope I'm gonna be not sick again. And let's pray for recovery quickly. And thank you so much. And I see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.